also want to say it's a space, it's a safe place. Everything that's said, obviously, you can say if you're uncomfortable, any questions like that you don't agree with or anything like that, just say I don't want to answer that. It's a safe space. Anything that's said, anything that's done, I'm not judging anyone. We're all here in the sense of like everyone should be accepted in every sense. Um, so it's a chat about your experiences and what you've been through and what you want to like communicate to people and like I just really want to create a voice so that people know that when they go through something, everyone is there for them. They're not alone. Obviously, we all have different experiences as well, and that's why we want to see what your experience is as well. Um, so if you would like, could you please introduce who you are and what sort of experiences you've gone through, if that's okay?
No, you can go first. Go on. I'm Alice, and I've got Tourette's and coprolalia, and it's adult onset, so I didn't get diagnosed until I was 21.
Yeah.
I'm Alice's mum, and yeah, I'm just learning about Tourette's syndrome at the moment. I know a few things, but it's more lived experience than anything else. So don't quote me on any, I can't give you any data or anything like that. I've been making it up, I think. I can tell you that there is only 1 in 10 people who have Tourette's have the coprolalia, which is the swearing. So people think Tourette's is just swearing. Like, do you know when you say Tourette's syndrome, people go, oh, the swearing thing. No, it's not like that because only 1 in 10 people have that. I ramble as well. I carry on gabbing, so shut me up. You want to introduce myself, right? That's it.
No, 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 that's fine. It's great. I just want it to be natural. I don't want it to feel like we're in like an interview. It's not really formal. It's just to get people to understand everyday people and what sort of things that we can communicate without having to be, oh yeah, this is how it is, and that's no. There's misconceptions and stereotypes, and I just hate that because a lot of the time people. One of the things I really believe speaking to you will help a lot of doctors automatically think, oh, this is when it's diagnosed. Tourette's is a young thing. It's not in adults. It never starts in adults, and as you get older, it disappears. It's not a miracle. It doesn't just vanish. And also, everyone's different with how things develop in the bodies. It's literally like your brain, so it could be any age. It's not. It's not a thing. It's not. It shouldn't be. Oh yeah, you're lying. You're older. That's not. It's not. I really hate that.
You're totally right. So to be diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, you have to have had some kind of evidence of having it through childhood. Because they say it's a childhood thing. And you are totally right. So with me, when Alice turned around and said, Mum, I think I've got Tourette syndrome, stupidly, I said, you're just being hyper and acting daft in front of your friends. And now I feel sick with myself for saying that. But thinking back, when Alice was hyperactive when she was younger, she would be selective mute with other people, yet she'd be high as a kite with me. So to me, when she's ticking, I see her hyperactive face, like hyper face before from when she was younger. So I just think, oh, she's being hyper. So it was only natural to think that. But you would stutter when you were tired, and she'd stutter the same word over and over again. And when I explained this to the doctor, he said it's because her brain's working too fast for her mouth. So
Yeah,
and when she's tired, but apparently that's a sign of Tourette's, which I didn't know.
yeah.
And I think as a parent, you beat yourself up for not realizing that those signs were Tourette's syndrome. And when I've explained these to other people, they said, oh, she would have definitely been diagnosed when she was younger. So that's like, oh, that kills you as a parent because you just think, why didn't I do this when she was younger? But it wasn't until you went through a lot of trauma that it came up really thick and fast. But again, like I say, I feel sick for saying, oh, you just had acting hyper in front of your friends. And I feel awful for saying that, but I think that's a natural reaction, isn't it?
That's
Well, I
really
hope
not
it is.
your fault though. And I really believe that there should definitely be more education for parents because you shouldn't be the one that is looking for it, but you should understand how it could be about. The doctors are the ones that should be the ones diagnosing all the time. It takes well over the time it should be because it took me 10 years and I still feel like I haven't had a formal diagnosis. So she put it in my notes and all this, and oh yeah, you think, oh yeah, that's right. But when you go to someone, oh, have you got a formal letter? And I'm like, do I really need a formal letter? I've just been through this process this whole time. My doctor understands, just speak with them. But we definitely should be understanding more about like what can happen when you're younger and stuff. But also, it isn't just when you're younger, because one of the things that I learned was, oh, did you have this when you were younger? Or what? When did it start? Obviously, I was 15, so I wasn't old, but I wasn't young, so it was in the middle. And they said it's through childhood. So have you got any experience? And it's like, well, I can't really remember. It's been so long. And also, should that matter? We're here now. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Uh,
yeah,
and I think that with that being a thing, it's just giving people more stress, and then they don't want to go to the doctor, they don't want to get help, and then it falls upon the family, the around people to be the ones that push them or want to
yeah.
help them more, and that shouldn't be the case. Like,
I think you tend to only go because it's hard to get doctor's appointments and things like that. You have to go through triage and things with doctors now. I think you tend to wait until you're at a crisis point before you actually do ask for that help. And that's sad really, but like I say, I was told you didn't see the signs because you weren't looking for them. You didn't know what they were. And I think that's why what you're saying is so important. People need to be educated on what the signs are so that they can go before it is crisis point, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making much sense, but
you do make sense.
sorry. I need to shut up as well. Just tell me to shut up, ask Alice loads of questions and said it's good.
I just think it's great to get both perspectives because we obviously experience it in ourselves, but we don't think about who is buyers and what they could be going through. And sometimes the people that's in the crisis or in the state of the illness or getting a diagnosis or anything like that with anything, they might not see it themselves. It's the people that are around them, and then we don't understand how it's affecting them. So we need to understand a bit more. Um, you're not in shock, really, are you? No. But you can ask
I was
questions.
going to say, I can only see one face moving.
You can ask questions as well. You're allowed
Alicia,
to talk. I feel
Alicia,
like
sorry. Alicia,
no,
did you notice Max's Tourette syndrome before they did? Do you think?
Well, I don't know, like, because see, this is really awkward because, um,
Sorry.
so like, no, it's awkward in my part because obviously you were saying about how you feel like it's your fault as a woman because you should have, gone backwards and you should have got it diagnosed sooner. But I feel like it would that you've got two experiences like yours where you don't want it to be true because it's going to be a lifelong thing and you're going to carry it forever. And then like my mum, where when I was younger, so I recently in January actually, and I'm 27, got diagnosed with autism. My mum has been advocating that since I was younger, trying to get me help and that, and then we're basically
Yeah.
deaf ears. So we've got the parents where you're looking out for your child in different ways. You're not like just lazy just because you got diagnosed later. So basically, in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is because of my illness, my condition, it's not an illness really, is it? I don't know what's. I have really big gaps in my childhood memory, not because of trauma or because my mum didn't do a very good job. It's my brain does this thing where it's got like an expiry date. So if there's memories I don't need, I bin them. Like normal people, they can retain things, but my brain just automatically bins things. So I can only probably remember the big bit. So like I can remember when you first happened. So we were in Great Yarmouth, and we just literally had his 50th birthday, and I was in the room with my older sister because Max went in with my mum because she was being really happy, and I don't know what happened. So she got banged on the head on a ride, and she was also drinking loads of energy drinks, which I think incubated it. And basically, in the night,
Yeah.
we just heard a scream. I can't stop moving. I can't stop moving. So I remember that. that bit, and then the bits after where you're dancing around and the car ride. But I can't really remember childhood and things like. All I can say, I think I can remember that they, was always hyperactive and always I want to say extroverted, but always outgoing, always wanting to be friends with everyone, always was talking to people. And I think that's a way. So that a bit like Alice when they were younger, that when she was younger, they and there's a really strong link with in ADHD as well, and because it's neurodivergence in the brain.
Sorry, something just came up on the screen.
That might be me. It's like, oh, you're gonna run out of time.
So you just upgraded.
So I upgraded it, and I get free to.
I'm really sorry that. I think that's me. I just like Alice, just press it because I can't see it. But I need to see your face while I'm listening to talk and see it. Sorry.
I think there were signs, and I think the signs of everyone's. There's a really strong link. So sometimes it doesn't get diagnosed as a neurodivergence, but it actually is, and that's why with Alice being diagnosed at 21. It comes out more because obviously as your hormones fluctuate and your brain tries to develop fully, it's not going to. So your brain's trying to find different mechanisms to make that change. So for example, I'm 27, but I'm not even exaggerated. My brain, I feel like I'm about 12 because in a lot of sense, I'm not naive on things, but it's just my mentality, like the way I work and that, and the way I get things happen. So there needs to be research because I think with people with Tourette's, ADHD, autism, dyslexia, anything that can be seen as a neurodivergence, the brain doesn't fully develop. They say 25, don't they? But I don't think it fully does with people that aren't typical.
I'm 47, and I would say it took me till about 40. They say it's the front vortex. Is it the front vortex? Is that a lot of people's perspective?
Yeah,
There's always a weird name I can't pronounce.
That could be also because a lot of people don't think, oh, my child has got this. It could be because of me. So I don't think mine was saying, but in our family, our mum's got struggles with mental health. She's got bipolar. And we sometimes, the way she acts, feel like it's linked to ADHD. And then our older sister had a late diagnosis of ADHD and autism, so she's got both. So there is a strong link to it. And that could be that you've got some kind of neurodivergence as well, and you've been able to adapt.
I think anyone who meets me, Max, you'll vouch for this. I am definitely neurospicy.
Yeah.
I like to say
that's what we say.
But I'm a 47-year-old menopausal woman, and there's many women in my position going to get diagnosed with ADHD. I have fibromyalgia, which is very interlinked with ADHD. I have ME, which has now been seen as a neurological as well as a medical condition. So that came out last year. So I'm definitely neurospicy, but to me, it doesn't affect me on a daily basis in such a bad way. Like, it's the other conditions that affect me more. And I'm earning that because it creates creativity and it makes you think out the box. And to me, that works for me. So I'm an artist and a poet. So that works for me. So I'm earning that. I'm saying that's not ADHD, that's mine. And I'm not going for that diagnosis. Yeah. But I can understand why other people do. And they do say the Tourette syndrome is an inherited condition. So exactly what you've just said is right. So it's an inherited condition, and it generally is passed down from the mum. And the mum generally has some kind of neurospiciness, as I like to call it. So yeah, you're right. Sorry, that was my way of going all the way around Beverly.
We do that.
You got to the exit, you know what I'm saying? You didn't go around the roundabout the wrong way.
One thing I learned is, which is actually quite ironic. So it's seen in the animal kingdom, a lot of foragers and people that go out to feed people are females, so like all honeybees or all bees are female. It's just the males that reproduce and then they die. But that's because I feel like the irony is most neurodivergent people, I swear, are female, but because of the culture that we're in with the patriotic society, no woman ever gets diagnosed. We have to live with it because we're the hunter gatherers. People always think it was the males that were hunter gatherers, and they say that neurodivergence, it was a way of us keeping on top of things, being aware of everything, you know. So the irony is the men get all the diagnoses, but it's us that need it more. But we've then kind of figured out a way to deal with it. But maybe because, yeah, men just like having everything, don't they?
I'd say kind of on the flip side of that, because how society's changed now and we're encouraging more and more men to speak up and to talk about their feelings, maybe that's why that's become more prominent. I'm not sure. I'm not I'm more of a humanist. I'm not saying everyone's feminist and the saying about the
Oh,
you
no.
are right in what you're saying because we deal with different things in this society. We deal with different things, and there is still, unfortunately, a male patriarchy. However, it has changed over the years, and I think it's changed in a way that men have been more encouraged to speak out emotionally and to talk about their feelings. And I think that's maybe why the male journey of being diagnosed now is more at the forefront. Am I making sense? I don't even know if I am
No,
making
you
sense.
make sense,
It's
yeah.
kind of difficult because I don't know anything.
But no, it is flipping though. It is because what it was with ADHD, autism, and that they were saying that autism only happens one in every, and everyone that's diagnosed is only one in something like 10 women that have it. But then they did the research and realised that it could be more of a bigger split than leaning towards a woman. But yeah, right, the society is changing, and I'm just hoping that we can actually find a balance because in this world, like even everyone can do everything, and we're getting out of that system where you know big men.
I think look back about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, that they didn't recognise autism in women. So you're right that they called it Rett's and they said it was harder to diagnose in women and things like that. And I think a lot of people my age were on the high achievers or gifted and talented lists because you excelled in a certain thing and then maybe didn't excel in other things. So you over excelled in one thing and maybe didn't excel in other things. So like my generation was slightly different. But yeah, like even 10 years ago, it was hard to get really hard to get a diagnosis for a female of autism from a young age. Whereas it was seen a little bit more in males from a young age. And I think that's very important to understand as well now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I understand that everyone wants to talk and stuff, but I've got a couple of questions. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know.
I just wanted to understand more about Alice's perspective because I understand you've been through a lot in the past couple of years and everything with getting diagnosed, but I just wanted to understand how you cope with like obviously it's going to be difficult to understand like how different situations can affect your like tics and stuff like that. But do you have any like special coping mechanisms that maybe you use in the sense of something's happening and you can use them to like cope with any situations or stress? If you wouldn't mind me asking.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, recently I got some like fidget toys. And then the film I Swear. So Johnny's got a pendant that you can buy it on. So I recently got one of those as well. But a lot of the time, like obviously right now I'm like naturally suppressing. So a lot of the time, like when it's like new people or even around like certain like most family members and things like that, I go like I think so with it being adult onset, I feel like I've always naturally suppressed. So when I was younger, I was like selective mute. So I wanted to talk to family and things like that. But I just physically couldn't. So like a lot of the time now, I naturally suppress and I go quiet. So some people don't see that I'm ticking. And then, so like, I feel like a lot of people think, oh, well, she doesn't actually have it. Because,
Yeah.
like, when I first got diagnosed, I had like some family members, I don't talk to them now, and friends say that I was making it up because they hadn't seen it. And at the time, I was in a relationship and he broke up with me, because I said that I had Tourette's and he was like, well, I haven't seen it, but he didn't really see me much, so he never saw me do it. So I feel like a lot of people just presume that I'm like making it up when actually I'm naturally suppressing, because you can't help suppressing as much as you can't help ticking.
You kind of done that all your life, haven't you?
Yeah,
That's definitely something that I've noticed I do easily. Like people think it's harder as well, but it's you can easily just switch on and off. You're in public, yeah, you feel embarrassed. You think, oh, people are going to stare at me. People are going to think like I'm probably on drugs, which a lot of the time that is the first assumption. People think like, oh no, they won't assume that, but that is the first assumption. And I found out because of that that was my brain going, no, I don't want to show myself up. But I really believe that that shouldn't be how we feel because that can cope in the sense of you are making yourself more stressed. And then when you want to be comfortable, you can't be comfortable. And then obviously your family members, like your parents and your sisters or your relatives, they experience the outburst when you get in. And we shouldn't be forced to have to do that. I really want to educate people in the fact that, yeah, we have a diagnosis with something that might look physical, it might look vocal, but it shouldn't be like that all the time. It's not something that it just is always like that. It can wax and wane, it can be really bad some days, and really, it depends about the situation. And a lot of people just automatically go, oh no, you're not ticking, you're lying. And I found that out when I've told people as well. So I just wanted to like understand how you've gone about telling people. Like, do you just openly tell people, or do you feel like if you tell people, they go, "Oh no, wait, hang on, we can't socialize with you, or you can't have this job because of that." Have you like told people just outright? Because I found that I myself get a bit more stressed in telling people, and I shouldn't. I understand that like we should just be more open. So
yeah.
yeah.
So usually, like, if I'm with my mum or like my best friend, so if I'm meeting somebody new, I will say like, "Will you warn them for me, please?" Because a lot of the time, like, I will naturally suppress anyway, but then later on, because I've been suppressing because I have non-epileptic attack disorder, which comes under F&D. So usually when I suppress, I have a seizure later on as well. So it kind of like works like hand in hand.
I think the saddest thing is that word. Will you warn them? Like warning.
Like,
That's the saddest thing. I know that sounds awful, but
why
why
should we
warn?
need to warn
No,
people?
but you know what's
I get what you
annoying?
mean.
It's a constant condition where, as you said, and our Max has said, there's consequences. Like people go, oh, well, you can suppress it, you just do it that all the time. You know, you could be in social situations and that. But from what I've seen, and I've got a friend as well. I won't name her because I don't know if she wants to be out, but she's got. I'm pretty sure she has non-epileptic seizures as well due to her suppressing things while she's out as well, and it's like a bottle of pop. The more you do it, the more it goes up. So what we need to be in a society, because there's no medications, nothing, there's no magic remedy. We need to be able to be in a society where you can just let it out when you need to and not feel embarrassed and feel comfortable, because then you're not going to have them consequences. It's going to kind of flatten it out a bit for you and not make that as bad. Then you can try and get some kind of comfort in the fact that maybe later on you might not get a seizure, or later on you might not have a tick attack, and then it's not constant. But people think, oh, just suppress it, that'll be fine, that you won't get. But there's consequences that people need to know. People needs to be more research
You can't
into
hold
it.
a sneezing, can you? Or a hiccup. Like
No.
you're gonna hold a sneeze until later on. I literally would pee myself. Do you know what I mean? You can't, can you? Sorry. You haven't had it out.
That's funny.
Sorry. No, cut it out. Do you remember when Alice has got a story about this, and it sounds really daft, but because so many people have said, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's my Tourette's," do you know the swear?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
they've not.
Yeah, so for a while,
And you can say the word, so don't worry that you've said that word.
yeah. So for a while, I didn't go out. Yeah, well, I still don't go out on my own, really, just in case. But now I have a lanyard that obviously says that I have Tourette's, so I've got like proof. Um, but a few years ago, I didn't. It was before I got my lanyard, and I was walking home with my best friend, and there was like an older man in front, and I ticked really loud, asshole, twice, and he stopped, and he was like, "Did you say that to me?" And then my friend, because obviously, like I always say, if I say something that's funny, I'd rather you laugh because I get worried that I'm gonna like annoy people. So obviously my friend got used to like being able to laugh if I say something funny. And she was trying to explain to this man, obviously, that I've got Tourette's, and he just wouldn't listen, like he just thought that I was making up. So for a while afterwards, I didn't really go out because I was just worried that I was going to say something that offended somebody.
I mean, you do with the copper lady, yeah, there are some really offensive things that she says, and that's maybe why you say about warning people. But again,
Yeah.
it's a tough one, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard because it's not a warning. It's just I hate the word warning. I hate
It should
using
just literally
warning.
be the fact that, hello, my name is whatever your name is. I don't know.
If I had it, I'd just go, hello, my name's
Like
Lisa, and
it
you're an
shouldn't.
arsehole.
It shouldn't literally be like it shouldn't be like you're standing up in an AA meeting. You're not got a condition that's causing offences. You're not someone that's living with something that's like it's not something that we shouldn't be anonymous about. But also we shouldn't be forced to tell people. Like you know what I'm saying. We should.
Yeah.
Why should there be an explanation? I'm living my life. I'm a human being, no matter who I am. I'm breathing the same air as you. It doesn't matter about anything that affects me. So why should it affect you?
Yeah. Just let me be. Just let me
Yeah,
walk past.
Yeah.
Let me. If I swear, just ignore me. I'm not
yeah,
doing it on purpose.
yeah.
And it's like as if you have to like a is it called a sandwich board where you have it on you,
Oh
or
yeah,
like an arrow on your head. This person's got Tourette's. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? It's hard, isn't it? Because it's very visible, very vocal in some ways, but not in others. Because it affects everybody differently, doesn't it?
yeah. I definitely understand. Over the years, I've definitely understood like stages that I can be in. Like I don't know if this happens to everyone, but a lot of the time, I always think that I'm holding things in because I get really bad migraines. But then obviously I start with like small, subtle movements, and then as it gets worse, because I'm getting stressful, because I'm like, oh my God, I can't help this, and people are going to stare. Then I understand then that I go into more like a focal thing. One thing that I know happens, and it's going to be bad, is when I start whistling. I have like a really weird whistle, which I can't do it usually, and then I
Yeah.
know that it's going to be that's like the stage before I might start saying stuff. So then it's like get me home or like get somewhere comfortable because I feel like that's when I know there's going to be an attack. But the thing that I feel that causes that is when you start feeling stressed about the small things. You feel like you get to watch for the small things. Then, like Alicia said, it builds up. Like you put the Mentos in, and it's just gone.
I was gonna say, so a part of sometimes I do it. Sometimes it's like my brain. I know I'm gonna do it, but I do it anyway. And then sometimes I just do it for no reason. You've probably heard of it. So your swearing is called cochlealia. I've got echolalia. So you'll say something, and then I'll repeat it. And I remember one time. I can repeat it once or really loud or repeat it multiple times under my breath or sometimes it is external so I'll just go round and round in my head like same with music and one time we were in Stigmas, it was when we were slightly younger about 16 and 17 and you were a bit more vocal then weren't you because it's stage and we were in Stigmas and we were in an arcade and you said the N word really loud by accident, and I went, oh man, like that, because I knew a song that went like that, so I repeated it, and then everyone looked at me. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that is something that I
So
sometimes knows. I've literally not even joking. A couple of weeks ago in Iceland, it come out of the blue. Like I wanted to say something else, and then what come out with of my mouth was something really offensive, and I was like, what is going on? So I feel like sometimes there's definitely a fine line where you can be too comfortable, and then you don't realize, and it just can happen, and then that's when it builds by surprise. And yeah, we shouldn't obviously just go around saying things like that, but we can't help it. And so that's why it should be a case of, oh, it happened out of the blue. Let's like we don't want to be laughed at, but we can laugh at it. We shouldn't be a feeling that, oh, you've said that, or why did you say that, and take it in handcuffs.
Yeah.
We shouldn't feel like that.
the thing is that wouldn't it be easier if people were just like, I mean, it's probably a bit offensive me saying this, but in the society we're in at the moment, we're surrounded by people that just get offensive really easy, and like people call them snowflakes. If people knew that words were just words and they didn't have the power, wouldn't life be just ever so marginally slightly better? Because then you can say something, people just brush it off, and then you can just carry on.
In some senses, I understand what you mean, but in the sense like people then will kind of use that as a loophole to be offensive, if you get what I mean. So
Yeah, it's really hard.
there's definitely bookends to it. Like
There's a
you need to
definite
be able
fine line,
yeah,
isn't there?
there's a gap. Like people take like whatever they want and they bend it. Like there's a lot of people that'll go, oh yeah, I can say that because I've got someone that is experiencing that. Or a big example is I can say that because I've got a black friend or I've got a black relative. No, that shouldn't. There shouldn't be that sort of, oh yeah, let's
No.
use that as an excuse. I believe with myself, it's good to have boundaries because I don't want to like always be doing it, but also we should feel comfortable. So there's like two bookends. We should have boundaries, but in the sense of like we've got a condition we can't help, we should feel comfortable. So there's not these people that can just take that as a open end. Oh, there you go, you can do it. You know what I mean? I ramble
But
on
there's
as
a way
well.
though, isn't there, where if maybe if you like Alice's thought, you know, what happened to you when you were on the street and you know, he said arsehole, but it wasn't directed at anyone. Why can't people just not be thick enough to realise that when you're explaining something, you know, that's that, and then just move on? Because
Yeah.
you know that would be nice as well if people weren't just causing trouble for no reason.
It's
I
that,
think because
yeah.
you've got it. They always say it takes one bad apple to spoil the car, and you're always going to have that one person that will say it. Like again, someone in the pub going, "They're swearing to God at my mate, it's just my Tourette's," and they probably don't have Tourette's syndrome, and it just takes that one person to say something like that, and someone to overhear it who's never come in contact with anyone who has Tourette's syndrome. So then when someone who does have Tourette's syndrome tries to explain that they have Tourette's syndrome, they just think it's someone
Yeah.
taking the mick.
Oh, you're taking the piss, yeah.
Yeah, and I
And I
think
feel
because
like that is definitely the society we're in. Like, there's been a lot of cartoons and like kiddies programs or stuff like that where they've taken the. I don't want to like sugarcoat it. They've taken the piss. They've gone, oh, you can't shut up because you've got this Tourette's, or oh, you're swearing. Oh, ignore it. They've used that in this culture in this day and age to go
yeah,
and create the stereotypes that we have to face. And then
yeah,
people won't listen when we explain it.
Yeah, I prefer TV shows and films that talk about something serious. So like examples I've seen on TV like Hannah Montana or whatever, you know, just stories with young girls. A big issue was obviously bulimia or anorexia and things like that. They're really flippant or think I've got this and think, but that's not the way we should go. Any illness that you want to talk about, you should have that one serious episode where
yeah,
it could be like a dark comedy, maybe. There could be bits of comedy in it, but you're seriously talking about something. Then that's what it should be. It should be flippant, because then people think, oh, it's just a joke. You need that serious element, and that's obviously as a filmmaker, that's what I want to try and put across. So I'm doing my final film, and it's basically some of the aspects of what goes on in my brain, like depression and feeling isolated from people. I'm taking that and I'm making it into a dark comedy with physical elements, so people can see that when I talk about something directly, it's serious, and then maybe something's going on around them to play on the juxtaposition. But you know,
The thing is first and foremost, everybody is a human being, and this is my argument. Like, to me, you wouldn't think, I mean, I don't know, you might think that, I don't know. She's got disabilities, like she's going to be paralyzed this afternoon. You wouldn't think that to look at me. Do you know, like if I go out, I'm making sure that I'm doing something to make those memories. I'm dancing and things. So you wouldn't think that I had these hidden illnesses that can leave me bedbound for a week or something just from watching my hair. Do you know, like you
Yeah.
don't see that. Nobody sees what is going on. I'm not trying to say it's all me, but what I'm trying to explain is nobody sees what goes on behind those closed doors. Nobody sees what goes on. And I think with Tourette syndrome and with autism and ADHD, it needs to be out there. People need to see it. And
Yeah.
people need to see not the hidden parts. And it's really definitely like people will probably say to you, Max, don't suppress. Don't feel like you have to suppress in front of me. And like Alice said, suppressing comes as naturally as not suppressing.
Yeah.
And it can hurt either way.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I think sometimes I'm just like, I wish you would let your ticks out more because people would see what it is. Do you know? But then other times you're like, oh, it must be, do you know, like hard not being able to suppress. And that's the worst thing. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it, with Tourette syndrome? Because either way it hurts. So
Yeah.
you can suppress, it's going to have an effect. You let it out, it's going to have an effect. And
It's one of them as well. Like once you might get this as well, Matt. Like once I start ticking, I can't stop, and then I'm
Snowball
like
effect.
worrying. Cause I'm like, once I start ticking, I won't be able to have a normal conversation. So I'm just worried that I'll just start and like not be able to stop. So that makes me go. I feel like sometimes I naturally zone out. So if I zone out, I'm sorry, but it's because
I
obviously
do
I'm
that.
naturally suppressing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and she tries not to look at me as well because I set him off.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's definitely a snowball effect though. Like it works, it is so complex that these are the things that people don't understand. So you want to be like in a society where it's open, you can be yourself, but on the other sense, it's like there's too much of being yourself in the case of I have, like I was explaining, I have like stages in the fact that it's a snowball effect. If I do that and like I've always
So
thought
sorry, I've got a delivery. Sorry, she's got a delivery at the door.
it's like our sister, she delivers things and you don't know they're coming. So
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
no, it's not, it's fine. It's natural though, isn't it? You got a parcel. Who cares?
You look she didn't do a normal tick what she does with that one. Oh, I'm gonna burp it now. Flappy box. Oh, flappy box. Sorry, I know I'm putting
No,
it.
it's fine.
So
So
I got a delivery before,
yeah,
and as I don't flap, he flapped my box. Do you know the letterbox? And now that's all I ever get is he flapped my mum's box. And I saw my mum shouts the terror and he flapped her box, and she shouts that really loud. And I'm like,
There we go.
have you not
Set me off.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I've set her off. I've just got the middle finger as well. I'm really sorry, I've set her off now.
I with mine, like I was, I don't know if I'm good at explaining this, but I always thought, oh, I won't do that. There are things I don't do, but then when you go into an attack, you can do anything. So you can literally your brain is doing things that you might not have thought of. So one example is when I had a bad one. I don't want to be like too deep or anything or stuff like that, but I always thought I wouldn't be someone that would hit myself or walls and stuff like that. And I went through a phase where I would punch the walls. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't think that would be something I would do. And because of the punching the walls hurt, then I turn it on myself. And then I know that's a bad one. And I'm like, I didn't think that would happen. So with this condition, it's like, you know yourself in the sense of what you usually do, but also you don't in the sense that there's a dark Dr. Jekyll in the back of your head that will do anything. Like, you probably surprised yourself and gone, oh my God, I didn't know I would do that.
Yeah, it's like you naturally have to take precautions, don't you? So you have to think ahead. It's
Yeah,
like even in the car, I have to have the child lock on just in case I tick and open the door. Because it's one of those, isn't it, where you have in your head, I shouldn't do that.
yeah,
And then tick makes you do it
yeah.
even more.
You're also suggestive as well, aren't
Yeah, I'm really suggestive. So somebody else suggests something and my tick will do it. I call my ticks Trevor. Because obviously with it being adult onset, for
Yeah,
people to differentiate between whether it was me or my tics talking, I say like that's Trevor that. So
yeah,
Because obviously Max is Max now. I'm always gonna call them because obviously I don't know if you know that Max is transgender. I'm always gonna call them Mia, and I don't care. Sometimes if I'm out at work or something, I'll call them Max, but I'm never gonna be able to go over it.
that's
When-
another subject for another one
When they
because it doesn't
started,
bother me.
when they
Just the
started
app,
ticking, I basically I call ethics aim. So aim. So it's kind of funny because it's me and backwards, but it means like yeah, you shoot. So I like that. But one thing I was really bad at, and sometimes I do it now, and I think it's semi on purpose, is when you started, I knew what your triggers were. So I used to say, oh, one of the triggers used to be bitch. So I'll just go, oh, bitch, and then that would set them off. So I do all the time. It's
I'm trying
like
not
a
to do
sibling
anything.
prank.
That's really bad, right? Jokes
Bad,
I'm not that bad today, to be fair. And the sense I'm just gonna ignore you. But like one thing I do a lot, and I understand like it's just something that's been through my neck. Oh my god, that's something that I do all the time. And sometimes if I do it in a certain way, I have to do it in another certain way, and then it sets my eyes, and I'm like, people have had a go at me like, oh, why are you rolling your eyes on me? I'm like, I'm not. So, and a lot of the time, if I'm doing something, I'll look left. All the time, I'll look left, and it looks like I'm staring at someone, and they're like, "Why are you looking at me?" I'm like, "I'm not looking at you. It's not all about you."
yeah.
Can I ask? So a lot of people don't know this, but OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, is one of the I can't remember what you call it, a comorbidity
Yeah.
that comes alongside with Tourette syndrome. So have you been diagnosed with the OCD as well? Because you know when you said I have to do it that way, or it has to be the opposite way.
That is something I think I've got, but I took so long to try and get the Tourette's condition
Yeah.
that I can't be asked going back because I would say
Yeah.
my comorbidities would be ADHD and some OCD because when I do like I don't want to start it, but when I do the neck, it has to go a certain way, and then I have to look at it another way, and I'm like that. And another thing is my shoes. I have to put my shoes on in a certain way, and I believe that if I don't do it in that way, I'm gonna have a really bad day, like for the rest of the day. And there's times,
I learned it yesterday, wasn't I? So my
yeah,
OCD, I always thought it was superstitions. I've always been superstitious. It's like I can't work on the three during. I'm just telling you more superstitions now, so you're gonna have to do them, but I shouldn't be doing them. Like I can't walk over 3 day during, and I always thought it was just superstition. Honestly, just thought it was that, but I was quite obsessive about it. Do you know? So even now, like I won't walk over 3 drains in case I get bad luck.
Even now you finish my tics sometimes.
Yeah, I do.
You
I
know,
can't help it. Do you know, like when you said about the echolalia,
yeah.
I'll finish a tick, or if she'll say something, I'll put a song in my head and I'll sing it, but I didn't register that as echolalia.
You probably have, you know.
I think probably I do. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just there. I'm just on the level. I'm just neurospicy.
Yeah.
I'm just floating away. It's fine. I'll just get on with it. But you're more interested. You're more bothered about if it's really affecting someone. Like I think I just affect people more than it affects me. If I'm honest, I just do people's heads in. But do you know what I mean? That's what I think. I'm not very good at reading the room.
Because that is one of my coping mechanisms. As soon as I like, I'm really bad at introducing myself to someone, so I just prefer to like go quiet and not speak to them. But if I'm comfortable with someone, I won't shut up. That's one of my coping mechanisms. So I believe that if I'm talking, nothing else is going to happen. And then you could be in the state where you get too comfortable. You're like, oh shit, I just swore and let's move.
Can I just say, and I don't want to embarrass you saying this, Max, but I was really touched when And when you opened up to me and you said, "Oh, they think I've got Tourette syndrome," I was really touched that you felt like you could tell me that. And I think you were still like in the throes of like finding out and stuff, weren't you? And
I'd like been dealing with it for years are just escaping me, but I think I'd been trying to cope with it for about 6 or 7 years. So I'd understood there was something, but in the sense of I hadn't gone back to the doctors again because I think I'd already been to the doctors like 2 or 3 times and they always dismissed me.
yeah,
So I was like, I need to sort it. And I think actually you were one of the people that went, no, I'm not. And why are you not going to the doctor? You need to sort it out. Like I'm like you went kind of like on a mother level. You were like, it's needs sorting out. You need to know what sort of things going on. And to be fair, thinking back and like how it went after that, I'm not saying it because just obviously you're on the podcast, oh yeah, and all this. I truly believe that was one of the conversations that pushed me in the sense of
you're
go
gonna make me cry in a minute.
in the sense of go to the doctors. And obviously, you get your relatives that always say it, but you think that they're just saying it just to shut you up, like, oh, you're going on about it, just go to the doctors, fuck off.
Yeah,
But in the sense of you were like, you understood and the fact that Alice obviously was going through a diagnosis and she was struggling as well. And so you were like, please sort this out because I understand how it's affecting you. And I think it wasn't that much long after that I'd gone to the neurologist and she'd started, even though it took a good year and a bit for her to like go, oh, hang on, wait, the process started spiraling then, and that's how I got it, basically.
please, I'm not being patronising and saying this, but I am so proud. And then I look at what you're doing now and stuff, and
Yeah,
you can see it in yourself that you feel more, you're accepting yourself more, I think. And that's a huge thing, isn't it?
this is really something I want to do for the community. I truly fully believe that diversity shouldn't stop anyone, but also that people should be allowed to open up. And I've struggled a lot still with that. And I think it's a wall that I'm trying to break down because my mum says it's confusing and she's a bit like what, but I say I'm more open obviously about how I'm trans because you can see it. I feel like my mum still doesn't see it and she's like, why are you so open about it? But I'm like, it's something I've got to be open about obviously, but in the sense of I'm more open about that than my Tourette's because I've experienced it a lot of the time when people go, you're lying, you're just saying that, or you feel like people are watching you, if you get what I mean. It's like all the cameras switch on as soon as you tell people they're watching you, they're staring at you, they're listening.
Yeah.
But in the sense of also, you don't want to tell people because you want it all to be about you. You don't want the attention. And I just want to like break that wall down because as someone that struggled with that, I don't want anyone else to struggle with that because why should we need to? Why should we have to?
I think it's gorgeous what you're both doing. Like I say, I think I'm so glad I've got to meet you, Alicia, as well. Because Max, you speak a lot about Alicia, and you spoke about Alicia when we was doing the show and things like that. And sorry, I'm making you go red. I'm not so really. And it's just so lovely, and it's nice to see. Like, I wax lyrical about Alice all the time because we are like sisters, and it's lovely to see like your relationship and how you two. You'll call me your comfort blanket, don't you? She says I'm a comfort blanket, and that's why it's easy for her to tick in front of me and stuff like that. But then I'm probably a bad influence and know her triggers and make her tick more. Alicia's laughing. She's exactly the same. I think it's
Like
nice for you to
mirror
know
each other.
that. Yeah.
Because I emotionally support her, but she's also my emotional.
I've got more ammo than one.
Yeah, she has ammo. She knows what to say.
It's I've got loads of ammo, like sisterly ammo. Like I could talk about loads of things. I could pick on, like not in a bad way, not a nasty way, but I could pick on your trousers. I could pick on your. I could pick on your face.
I just have a bully, like always constantly following me. So I just got like I just yeah. That's no, but like I also really love how you dealt with it, because obviously I'll be on Facebook and I've watched, like, I've looked at some of the sort of things you've done, and I understand that you've like written poems and things like that in the sense of trying to educate other people how Tourette's affects you as well. And I think it was on Facebook that I saw it. It must have been. I haven't been stalking it. And so if you can touch upon that if you would like as well, please. So like everyone knows.
I think the hardest poem I ever wrote for myself was the Parent Protector, because that was talking about how guilty I felt for not seeing the signs, and how I felt in the beginning. And have you seen the film I Swear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
When I saw I Swear, I sobbed all the way through it because I was like, please tell me I'm more like Dottie. Please tell me I was more like Dottie and not like his mum. Please.
Yeah.
And I was really paranoid about that because I, in the beginning, I felt bad because, like I said, oh, you just acting daft in front of your friends and stuff. And I felt so guilty. And I still feel guilty about that now, beat myself up. And I think so Parent Protective opened me up. I felt very vulnerable. Probably the most vulnerable that I've ever felt writing and reading something. I think with a tick called Trevor, that was speaking to Alice and how would you explain your Tourette's, and she wanted it to be, well, you hadn't been diagnosed with the Tourette's yet, had you? You've been diagnosed with the you had the tics and was waiting on your diagnosis, weren't we?
Yeah.
And I said, how would you say it? And I listened to you, didn't I? And she told me how to, and I wanted to do it in a way that was universal, so anyone could pick it up and read it or listen to it. And wrote it in quite a childlike manner. So it was like, I have a new friend, Trevor is his name. He may come out to speak to you and I will get the blame. And that's how it started. And then I don't know the full thing off by heart. And at the end, it was, I have a new friend. Trevor is his name. Please don't judge or ridicule me, for I am not to blame. So I just wanted people to understand that a tick is not someone, it is involuntary. It's not somebody's choice to do that tick.
Yeah.
And it was mainly about that, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's important. Like, to me, I find it easier to write poetry than I do to write anything else. So I think it's important to use those things to highlight things. And I feel like I'm ramming it down people's throats a lot, and I try not to do that. And I feel like a lot of people think I'm more clued up, and I'm not. It's just life experience, and I try and listen to what Alice is going through. It doesn't sound like it because all I've done is shoulda. But I like to know how, because everyone deals with things individually, don't they? And it's more about knowing how to react and stuff, isn't it?
That really touched me though, that poem that I have, that Trevor one. And I think that actually was the point what I saw it, because obviously we'd known each other for a couple of weeks and I'd friended you on Facebook, and then I saw that and I was like, that was the point where I felt like I can open up. And I feel like if that's something that even touches and shapes one life, even if this just only touches one person, it makes a difference. So I love the fact that you use what you have to make a difference. You get what I mean?
Honestly, I'm trying not to cry now because
No.
that's
No,
to me that's all that matters. If it helps one person, then it's
Yeah.
helped, hasn't it?
You know what though? Talking about I Swear, that scene, you know, in the kitchen when she's like, don't you dare, and all this, what you feel, you know, what makes you think is the play on the emotions. Like, you think that she's gonna have another go at him about it, and then she flips it on the end, and don't you dare say sorry in this house.
I love that.
And the makers of that film just knew how, because I bet about 80% of the people that watch that, that could trigger people that don't have the experience. It triggered, you know what? That's how maybe we should act, because and that was just the way that it should have been done. It's like even the supermarket scene when he hits her in the face, and she's like, he's like, you know, you're on the wrong side of me. He's like, no, I'm sorry. Even though she's hurting loads, the fact that she doesn't, I know she's a character, but I'm hoping that it's actually a real person, that was a real thing, because the way that she plays it off. The thing that really did my head in there was the scene about the dog. It was like, you dead. touch my dog again.
Oh, yeah.
It clearly wasn't his fault, but then we grew to like him, didn't we?
Oh, no, there's a lot of things in that film. You might go, oh, look, this is copy. But obviously, I've got a dog, and I've smacked my dog up the face before by accident. I don't know if you. Oh well, it's on the podcast now. And also the don't be on the certain side. Like my right side being my dominant side. I have smacked Alicia, just whacked her up the face. It's like
I've had all sorts. I've had smacked in the face. I've had
I throw water as well.
I've had
when I'm getting mad.
You fat bitch.
So
I've had all sorts.
I get it all the time.
It's really.
I'm sorry about my dog. I'm sorry about my dog, but you might want to edit this bit out because it's a bit graphic. But one of Alice's things, I'll show you.
I've only ever said it once.
She's only ever said it once, but it's the funniest thing in the world. And I don't know what I'd do if she said I wasn't allowed to laugh at her funny tics, because I wouldn't be here. I just wouldn't be able to go near her, because I try and switch off and a lot of things go over my head, but then sometimes she'll come out with something and it just kills me. Well, this one killed me. So I've got this fluffy little gorgeous white dog. You'll have seen her pictures on Facebook. She's just this little fluffy thing. And Alice ticked once. She was sat with a dog and she went, "You best lick your crack or I'm going to wank all over you." To the dog.
They're the sort of things.
Looking up at her, like, real cute. Oh, she's good. Yeah, so that was one of the funniest things she's ever said.
People think I'm making it up, like I want to say that to the dog.
But that's so good. You're like, dog.
You couldn't make it up.
No, like I said earlier, something that I always get really like in my head and get really nervous about is if I'm in public and I like have some sort of attack or just ticking, I always feel like they're going to tell me I'm on drugs. So that ended up being a tick, and I shouted, "I'm on drugs" all the time. I'm not even joking. And also, police make me nervous. I still try not to do it now, but I like shout like, "Oh, pigs," or snort at them and stuff like that. So it's like these are conceptions that can shape how things are. You know what I mean? And it is funny in the sense of why should it not be funny? You know what I mean?
It is, but like you obviously, you'd rather someone laugh with you than laugh at you. So if you laugh in the front of a tip, because I was like,
it's like that police officer even asked me before.
Yeah, like we've spoken to Tourette syndrome inclusion in the community. I'll call them tics. I have to try and remember what they're called. Tourette syndrome inclusion in the community, and they're Hull, Lincolnshire, and East Yorkshire where they cover. And I spoke to the ladies there that run it, and well, the co-founders and the people that work there, and the volunteers and the trustees. And I said, if she says something funny, am I allowed to laugh? Am I allowed to react? And they said it depends on the individual, and I think that's a really important thing to understand. If I was out in public and someone ticked, I wouldn't necessarily laugh at that person because I don't know if that person wants me to laugh if they've said something funny. Whereas I know Alice does.
And then laugh on your own, yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, well, I don't think you want me to do. So Alice just hilarious. You are allowed to laugh at her.
In that sense, like I have had experiences where I've had really shitty days and it's like really draining, and then out of the blue, I've surprised myself with what I've done or said, and it has changed the whole way my day's gone because I've been able to laugh with someone and feel a bit more comfortable. So yeah, that's my experience. That might be different for others, but I feel being someone that's a bit more open to like things and laugh and having that more lightheartedness, that really has helped in my mental health in that sense. Just having someone like you and Alice have each other, Alicia's like been a rock basically. Yeah, we laugh, she sets me off, but without her, I don't know if I'd be able to live on my own. You know what I mean? I don't know how that, because you obviously have experienced like tics and how dark it can make you. Like I know how bad that's been for you, but I have like really bad periods where it's in my head and like I can be having tics in my head. I explained this with the person we had on a couple of weeks ago. He understood Ryan, and that really shapes your mood. because it makes you so dark. And lockdown was really hard because when I don't go out in public and I don't socialize, I really retrieve into myself. So a lot of the
Yeah.
time I have to force myself to be in public. It could be the hardest thing I ever do, but I know that if I don't, I won't, if you get what I'm saying. So I believe in the like being in laughing and being able to laugh sometimes.
If you felt like you couldn't go out, Alicia, would you coax Max out? Would you make sure? Have you got other people that would maybe, or would you listen to people that are trying to coax you out, Max? Or would it have to be
I feel like
make
it
it? Would
depends.
you have to feel like it's your idea?
I feel like it depends.
I'm a bit lax in that area
Yeah.
because for someone that I don't have any friends, and I've only just recently started working again because I need the money. I'm the way around. I get depressed because I'm at home, but also at the same time, I want to be at home because when I go out and meet with people and everything, it just drains me flat. So I'm probably not the best person in that area, but you've got Mum and Abby that
Yeah.
Mum's always like, have you been out? Have you even just to the shop? Have you got some milk and bread just to get out of the house? And I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered.
I think it's good though that.
But as soon as I'm out, I want to go B&M, I want to go on bargains, I want to go spend money, but it's getting me out.
I think more, even though his mum's not with us now because we're in Liverpool, obviously I want to go back to her, I love her so much and all that. But she's instilled a work ethic into us. She's made us understand that we need to be independent. You need money, you need to save. So due to that, she's still helping me because she's the voice in the back of my head going, if you don't work and you force yourself not like you're staying, you won't do things. You won't want to go out. So by still working, even if it is the worst job ever, that's making me need to go out and I have a purpose. So she's still helping me even though she's not here.